This episode, Trends in Bathrooms. Well, Houzz just published their 2025 Bathrooms Trends Study. It's an interesting study showing some of the latest trends in bathroom designs. So, we're going to touch on the major topics of bathroom trends for 2025. Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show, home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Handyman Pros Radio Show, where our goal is to help save you time, money, and aggravation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition is entitled Trends in Bathrooms. And to help me explain, I'm here with my ever-cheerful co-host and old buddy Johnny. I'm smiling because I'm thinking about something that Archie Bunker used to say. And
yep, he's got a trend in bathrooms.
He had a trend in the bathroom.
You know that I think that Archie Bunker, that I think All in the Family was the first show where they actually had the sound of a toilet flushing.
I believe that is a correct statement.
Yeah.
I believe that is. And he never called it a toilet.
Yeah, a turlet.
It was the turlet. Yep. So anyway, whatever.
Is it the TV? Is it this TV set or the chair and something else are in the Smithsonian?
They're in the Smithsonian.
Yeah,
they sure are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, I digress. Yeah. Now we're talking about All in the Family. So for all you folks over in overseas that are listening, you know,
it's out there.
That's awesome.
You can watch All in the Family on Netflix. Yeah. I don't know about Netflix, but you can watch it. It's out there on the internet. You should watch it. Johnny, what's the one thing I've learned from watching All in the Family? Not a darn thing has changed, but people's names.
Yeah,
that's it.
Pretty much.
That's all that's changed. Anyway, with that. All right, let's talk about this 2025 bathroom trend study. So one thing, I want to go through the basics of this study, the parameters of this study. I'm literally going to read this off what they said. So this is a survey of 1,737 U.S. homeowners who renovated their bathrooms between June of 23 and June of 24. And we're just going to talk about some of the shifts. Some of the most important things that I wanted to emphasize out of this is that the average remodel cost was $18,500, and the project took between 4 and 6 weeks. And so just understand that these bathroom remodels take time. I know there's people out there that say you can do it in a day. I have a really hard time with that.
Yeah. So this is the Houzz study, right? And so
yes.
Just know that there's different types of what we're talking about. The bathrooms, we're talking about a really busted out redo the bathroom. So I don't want to interrupt you there, Larry. It's not one of these, I'm just going to throw a bunch of plastic over your tub, your existing tub and that kind of stuff and be out in it. So go ahead, Larry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. I mean, and that's just what we want to say. I mean, I just think that of the overview, it's almost 1,800 people that were studied, and, they gave you some numbers, and most of it was driven by functionality and upgrades and things like that about what people were wanting to do and why they were doing it. So that's just the basis of the study itself. And that way you have kind of a basis to know this isn't Larry and John going out and saying, hey, I interviewed 2 people and here's what we came up with. It's not anything like that.
Yeah. And I think the truth be known that, 18,000 is 19,000 is probably on the lower side of, of some of this. And it all depends upon what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Obviously. So, now you handymen out there that do some of these showers and things like that, there's potential here to, for some upgrades, some upsells, if you will. And that's kind of part of this study of especially in the shower realm of things.
Yep.
So
the study they break that down. 70% of these projects lasted under 6 weeks and had a budget skewed towards the mid range, 10 to 25,000. That was 52%. And the high end equivalence was 22% of all the cases. So you're seeing both sides of the coin. There's some that are really simple projects and others that are much more involved. Let's leave it at that,
So I'm at that point myself with my bathroom.
Thinking about doing a bathroom.
So, the shower's got to go. That's way overdue. But, some of my neighbors who have gone through this and I've watched this as it transitions. Folks, number one, we've done episodes on this, but just be prepared for quite the intrusion in the home when people are busting out your bathrooms, and all that stuff, because it is quite the it's quite the mess at first. There's no doubt about that. And I would say, 4 to 6 weeks, that's about right.
It's about
and
right.
That's hustling.
Depends on the level. Yeah. And that's hustling. That's somebody that's doing a good job. And it just depends on the complexity of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you're going to really redo a whole bathroom, and I don't care if it's just like, Johnny, it takes me about, in a rental house, if it's a essentially a 5x8 bathroom, it probably takes me 6 weeks by the time you get it all said and done. That includes all the drywall down, redoing the plumbing, everything involved in that. And that's a small bathroom, folks. That's just literally a 5x8. That's a tub at the end and a toilet and a vanity.
Yeah.
Takes about 6 weeks to do a real studs out remodel on one of those. And I don't think that's typical, because I don't think you always have to do that studs out kind of situation.
Yeah, that's true. Then you talk about some of the bigger places that have the, your master baths. You're going to be ripping out floors. You're going to be the whole thing, and with cabinets. The one thing I don't know about you, Larry, but if I was going to when I replaced that shower and everything, I sure would like to put some shutoffs on the shower hidden somewhere, instead of
nobody does it except me.
Yeah. Because I don't know why. Maybe some of you guys out there, you plumbers out there and stuff, you can ping the show about that. I just never did understand that. Cause let's say that I want to replace my, cartridge or something in the shower. Or I have to replace. I have to turn off the water to the whole house.
It's one of those things, and it just sort of depends on which floor it's on and all that kind of thing. I have personally done this a couple of different ways. If I'm replumbing the whole house, I use a manifold system with PEX right now.
Yeah, and then so you can turn off that. Yes,
turn off each
absolutely.
circuit. It's literally like an electrical circuit. You turn off each circuit, and that works great, really great.
Yes.
But on other houses where we haven't done a manifold, I have put valves up, usually in the wall, and usually it's in the closet. It's the same way that you access your shower cartridge if you need to, or your whole diverter valve if you need to get in from the back.
Yeah.
I'll put them in behind the walls. I don't
with a plate.
Generally. Yeah, I don't necessarily put a plate in, but I do mark.
Well, with one of those access panels or something. Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then you can turn them on and off. And I do it mostly because in the time while I'm doing a remodel on some of these things, I don't want the water on all the time, but sometimes I like to have it on.
That's the thing, right?
And you can just flip it on and flip it off. It's like,
Anyways, valves, I'm kind of I digressed here a couple of times.
2 valves is $30. Big deal, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, back to this study. So we're going to do the highlights on the trends, here. And one of the biggest trends, and actually did one of these when I redid my mother and father-in-law's place. But one of the first trend is there's a real trend towards curbless walk-in showers. And I guess part of it is it's just, there's no curb. Right. So you walk in, it's just a design. It's up 15% in popularity. It has to do with people are getting older. And as we're getting older, that stepping over the curb it can be very problematic.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law was actually wheelchair bound. And so when we redid her bathroom, we made everything curbless because we rolled the wheelchair in. And, folks, if you're not, gosh, Johnny, I hate to sound old, but if you're older, even if you're past 50, you got to be thinking about it. And if you're younger, you better start thinking about how are you taking care of your parents? Because guess what? You and I had talked at one time that we never got the primer on how to take care of our aging parents because my grandparents all died. They didn't live as long as we do today.
And a lot of times if you guys go into an older house, it might be a tub shower, right? So you got to step in over that. And if
that's even harder.
Yeah, and if you're gonna redo that shower anyways, you might want to just 86 the tub, and put in a curbless.
and
Now
do a
curbless
curbless.
has some nice aesthetics to it. I like them personally,
Yep.
even though I can step over anything right now. But it doesn't much matter. But if I redo this, I probably might go in with a curbless. I don't know. It depends. Schluter's got some really nice systems. But anyways,
Yeah, there's all kinds of
I don't want to keep
technologies out
going
there.
off track on the
Right.
conversation here. But
Right. There's all kinds of technologies out there, that there's new pans and things that mount level, that are that drain to the center, and there's all kinds of things to be able to make this happen today that didn't exist in the past.
that's right.
And so now going to curbless makes it easier. Now, relatively expensive, $2,000 to $5,000, and that, honestly, that's going to be the same that it would cost you to probably do a tub anyway. So it's not, dollar for dollar, it's about the same as if you were putting a tub in. So it's really one of
Yeah.
those things. It's you got to think about it. That's all we got to say.
I think it's also, when you go on and embark at, like anything, we keep harping on this, is that, sit down and have a plan and a budget for the plan.
Absolutely.
And so, if you can swing it, and say, here's the nice to haves and I can still, afford it, this is something to think about.
Yep.
Even if folks, if you're a handyman out there and you're redoing this, that might be an upgrade. Hey, for another couple grand, I can put in, a curbless.
And a lot of times it's not even that much.
Yeah, it's not even
It
that
just
much.
depends. It's just not even that much. It just depends.
Yeah.
It depends. There's a number of things that matter, but it's just kind of one of those things that you just have to look at it. You have to look at it. It's a reality today. We would say the same thing with putting grab handles in. I started putting in the stud work for grab handles on every bathroom I've ever done. Why? Because it's one piece of 2x6 put in sideways, or it's not one, but it's around a bathroom edge, and they're all basically at 40 inches high. So I might as well put that in now, because then if I ever need to install them, I drill holes and I'm done. Right. And I can mount them anywhere.
Yeah. No, exactly.
It's just little things, right? It's little things.
Yeah. So this is, there's a lot of tips here, folks,
right.
that we're kind of talking about.
Right.
But it's just it's interesting to see what's going on now. I will tell you that, from the trend for, tiles and things like that, I'm not kidding you. I was, and I don't know about anybody else, and I'm looking here at the design trends for bathrooms, but I've been in a bathroom in a shower that had like those little hexagonal or octagonal tiles.
The little tiny ones.
You know how much grout that is in there?
Oh, yes, I do.
And what does grout? I mean, nothing good comes from water, showers, and grout. And you are talking about a total mess. So that's something to think about. So, that's one of the things that, large format porcelains, they have listed here for tiles, less grout, that kind of thing is.
It's also natural stones and terrazzo colors. And I'm not big on this says earthy textured materials. I'm not really big on that. I don't like textures in a bathroom, largely because it's difficult to clean, but definitely larger format tiles, because there's less grout and they're actually easier to clean. But those are my personal choies.
That's mine. That's mine too. Cause you just hit it on the head. I've seen some of the terrazzo. I've seen some of the, a lot of texture in the bathroom, in the shower. Ooh. It looks good. Looks
great. Looks great.
And then, when you're thinking downrange and you're thinking like 5 years later, if you can't keep up with it, man.
And it's anything with texture is tough to clean.
It's
tough to clean. And as you know, if you haven't figured this out, you can't run the squeegee across it like you can a regular smooth tile.
No, you're gonna be scrubbing.
So you're going to be using a brush, which is, if that's your jam, if that's what you want to do, hey, more power to you, as far as I'm concerned.
Hit it, baby.
But just not something that old LT really wants to do. Of course, I'm not normal anyway, but everybody knows that. One of the other things that's a trend, and that's a trend, is earthy textured materials.
Yeah.
That's a trend. Those are those are design things. We always try to be careful here on the show about talking about actual design trends, because colors change and all this kind of stuff changes. Some of this stuff doesn't change, like curbless. There's not really going to be a downside to that. That's just kind of a good thing. There's not really a downside to it other than maybe water splash or something like that. And you can mitigate that as well. So, you actually can add a curb if you needed to for that. But, colors, now you're ripping tile out or ripping out whatever you're doing for flooring. And that can be somewhat cost preventative, and it can be very, how do we want to say it, fickle, I think is the right word.
Yeah.
This article also wasn't it this article, John, that mentioned that the farmhouse look is kind of going out the door?
Yeah, it's down 8%.
Yep.
It was kind of said, farmhouse is down 8%. Sorry, shiplap.
Yeah. It's just,
so
it's a thing.
I think when you look back and as you go through some of the phases that people have gone through,
right,
some of this designs, so that's starting to go back to some other traditional.
Is what it is.
They have a good point here that reclaimed oak vanities.
That's different.
Yeah,
that's also saves you a bunch of money.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not just the showers that we're talking about here. It's the whole bathroom here. That's when you look at the whole thing. So
one of the other big trends is to smart tech integration, right? So some of these things I didn't even realize that existed. So voice activated mirrors. You can actually tell your mirror, "Hey, you're foggy, clear yourself," and it does, which is kind of cool. I didn't even know that existed. Heated floors, of course, we've known about those for years. App controlled lighting. Well, I mean,
let me pause you there on that real quick. Is that I think if you're up north, or if you're in a little cooler climate, you might want to consider some of the heated floors if you're going to put it in.
I agree with that. Oh yeah. No, if you're doing it, do it.
Yeah, because it's not as hard as you think, and
it's gotten a lot easier.
With the flooring, yeah.
And so there's all kinds of different technologies to do that, and we're not going to get into that kind of thing, but it is something that, and you're right, Johnny, if you live in a cold climate, it's really something to think about, because it's not, how do we want to say it? It's incrementally, it's not that much money.
Right.
There are some wiring challenges. There's a couple of things, you need to be aware of. One thing, anytime, I will say this, I learned this a long time ago. Anytime you do anything underneath tile, put in multiple systems, meaning multiple wires and multiple ways to make connections, because sometimes one goes bad. And if you've got the wires guess what?
Yeah, there is things to watch out for, but yeah. So anyways.
But anyway, yeah, and some of that stuff's relatively low cost, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm gonna
add that we're talking about the smart tech integration and things. Sure. I'm gonna add something I just heard from a trend outside of this study, is that the smart tech stuff is starting to kind of wane a little bit, and people want to go back to a little bit more traditional things. And reading nooks are coming back.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
People that you want to read, I'm a big reader. I read a lot.
Yeah.
But I still don't. I prefer to read paper. Maybe I'm just
I do. No, I'm right there with you. And I love the convenience of being able to open up my iPad or whatever and be able to read stuff. But from a book standpoint,
yes. I want a book.
I want a book. It's the glare. It's the everything. If you're really going to sit down and spend a lot of time,
Yep, 100%. And I will. Way off topic. But I want to give a tip. I got a tip. This is a tip I got from my wife, actually. So number one, we always talk about go to the library because it's free. But here's the other thing: if your library, my wife donates time at the library bookstore. She buys books at the library bookstore for $2. $2.
Yeah.
We buy them I read them. She always asks me if I want it. She calls me up. You want this book? You want that book? I'm like, yeah, sure. Bring that book home. $2.
Yeah.
We then take them back. They give us $1 back.
Well, there you go. Speaking of bathrooms, Larry, there you go. You got reading material. We got to get back on topic here. So folks, I just wanted to throw that in, from the smart tech side of things.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I think one of the things that I'm going to be faced with and is the colors that I pick for the bathroom coming up. Yes. I'm not, so we can go all out for this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of going to be more just neutral type of guy, because everything else is going to be matching with it. And sometimes I go into places that are just, whoa, okay. You are stuck with that color for a long time now.
For a long time, yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. One of the other trends that's there are wellness-focused features. So this includes rainfall showers, aromatherapy diffusers, chromotherapy lighting for spa-like vibes. This trend ties to mental health and sharing install stories from the field.
I can see that. I can see this. Okay, I can see this.
Yeah, sure.
Putting in a rainfall shower and things like that, it would be easy if you're going to redo the shower.
That's a nothing.
Yeah, that's a nothing. Now there's other things that I'm not brushed up on here. Is that the aromatherapy diffusers, and some of the lighting stuff, but that seems very doable. And you're kind of sitting there, and listen. When you're taking a shower, it's kind of your time, right? You might want to get away from everything for the 15 minutes or the 10 minute, whatever, how long, whatever. And you make, hey man, I just want to get away, clear my mind, that whole routine. So I can see this. I can easily see this.
I can't believe that it would cost all that much money.
I don't, right.
I just have a hard time believing it would be that much more money.
Well, they're only talking
any of these items.
Yeah, this study here says $800 to $2,500.
Yeah, which is, in the grand scheme of things, is it a lot?
That's right. That's right.
Is it or is it? I mean, if you amortize it, right? And I hate to say that, but if you look at it that you're going to have this for at least 5 years, it's really not that much money on a daily. And considering you use this every single day.
Right. And there's from that perspective, there are things in your house that, hey man, if it's you, it's, especially if it's your forever home, hey man, it's you. Do you, right?
Yeah, do what you want. Yeah. Do what you want. Yes.
Right.
That's not something. I'm not putting aromatherapy in a rental house. Sorry, tenants.
Right. But I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't personally like rainfall shower heads myself, but that's me.
So you put in 2 of them.
No, absolutely. No, I'd put in a hand. If I was going to do it, I'd have a handheld and a rain shower. That's what I would do.
There's all kinds of things that I've seen in some of these really high end homes that, you can easily put in your home that won't cost you that much more. That's really cool. I mean, there's all kinds of, things like that. So anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of we talk a lot on this show about PEX, but PEX has changed a lot of how plumbing is done in a bathroom and particularly in a shower, because the cost of running the pipe now is next to nothing. And so if you want to put multiple shower heads, you're paying, yes, you pay for the shower heads, but the plumbing itself, it used to be when you were running copper, it was really expensive to do it because it took a lot of skill and this and that. Not with PEX, man. You can run it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we put when the last bathroom we did, which was actually in the house here, we put the on off valves are over by the door and the shower heads are on the other wall. And the reason we do that is you open up the door, you turn the water on, and you can wait for the water to get warm without getting wet. You're not up underneath the shower head when you turn the water on. It's on the other side of the wall. And that's just a little thing. But before PEX, that would have cost you $1,000. Now it's, here it's $50.
And I'll say, and the other thing is, guys, if you're going to do this, replace all the old valves with these new quarter turn valves and everything too, by the way. I mean, just know that when you do this, everything's got to get, let's just get new stuff.
Get new stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't even
Absolutely.
mess with some of the old stuff.
And so the last major highlight of this study was sustainable choices, and this is not a big surprise in any realm of imagination. But people want water saving fixtures and recycled materials, and prioritize as they call them eco upgrades. Get green certificates on stuff, all that kind of stuff. And it's basically to save money on long term bills. And I get that. I get that to a degree. Johnny's holding his thoughts on this one.
Okay, I'm gonna just chime in. I mean, I have to have water flow. Okay,
Yes.
I don't have to be under a fire hydrant.
Right.
I don't have a whole lot of hair to wash, but I'll tell you, my wife's hair is really thick, and and one thing is she's got to have water flow to get all the when she washes her hair.
Out.
So it's like, how much are we really saving? Now, I will granted that I don't have 5 kids in the house either. Okay,
Correct.
But if it's just me and her, in the house, then or you got a few people, I probably never gonna even notice how much difference it really is. Plus, it's just nicer to have, to tell you the truth. I'm not a fan of dual flush toilets either.
No, I'm not either.
I've worked on them. I think those cartridges, I think the whole thing's a ruse, to be honest with you. I don't like low flow toilets.
I don't like low flow toilets
so
either.
We've got ourselves into this now, and you're even cutting it down even more with these dual flush toilets. It's like, honestly, I mean, if we're down to that point, then why did you just spent 25-30 grand on your bathroom, and you're trying to save pennies on the water flow or something?
Well, there's a whole lot of things that go into that, and we're not going there because there's political issues, and there's this and there's that. Well, and honestly, folks, these low flow toilets, like you go into a commercial establishment and they do not use low flow toilets, by the way. Oh, by the way, they're not limited to 1.6. And I'm not being gross, but if you've ever noticed, they actually flush things down.
Yeah, they actually work. And we've got ourselves
with one flush.
Yeah, we've got ourselves in this, this whole side of thing where, everybody's moved into our bathroom, so it's bad. Yeah, it's my house.
So it's a fool's errand,
right?
Is what it is.
Exactly.
And we can go on for hours on this, but we're not.
I'll tell you. Here's the other thing that that's, I don't know if they really address it in here, but I think that people want to ditch their tubs.
They do.
I've got a situation. All the homes here, when they were designed, the architect, when they did it, I've got a big window, and underneath the window is the
garden tub. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that can be done to ditch that, other than put in, another tub with feet, update that.
Right.
But boy, I haven't used nobody in the family has used a tub, and I don't know how long. And I've got another bathroom with a tub in it, so
it was one of those design features that at one time was very, very popular. It's why we tend to not do trends, but the whole garden tub trend was huge, and it's a tough one to get rid of, because what do you do with it? You generally, there's a window over it. You can't. I just don't know. I've never figured out a good use. You take it out. What do you do with it? Put a sitting area in there? I mean, it's about the only thing you can do. Or close the window up, but then you're into siding and you're into a whole bunch of other.
It's brick. On my place, it's brick. I mean, it's like,
right.
Did you ever see when they do a brick repair like that? It's when you go down to the city and they close up windows, the difference is so obvious. It's like,
it's very obvious.
Good God. But it's, it's one of those things where personally, when all my neighbors have ripped out all that stuff, they've put in, just a more modern tub with feet type of thing, whatever. So,
but it still doesn't get used.
And that's the problem. That's exactly the problem,
right?
And
I don't use it for anything,
right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I could re-architect it somehow so I could expand my shower over there, something. But I got the window. So, anyways, yeah.
It's one of those folks. If you've never been in one of those houses, you go into one of those houses, you'll find out it's a conundrum. And the biggest thing they do is collect dust. That's what they do. They collect dust, and they don't. Let's see. We had one. We ended up putting a board over the top. We actually boxed it in and made a shelf out of it because it was just never ever got used ever.
Yeah,
never.
So even tub. No matter what kind of tub, I don't know who's using that.
Tubs get used largely for people with young kids.
That's anymore. It. Yeah, that's it.
If you've got young kids,
maybe washing the dog or something.
Uses a shower. Yeah, or washing the dog. Yeah, same thing.
All the hair going down the tree.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I think that's a trend is ditching tubs. So that's the other thing, folks. You can get it. You can get in on this. It's a 2025 that just was published from Houzz,
Houzz. Yep.
Yeah, that you might want to glimpse at if you're going to do this, and all your handymen out there. I mean, there's some good things here for if you're doing that, maybe give you some ideas to help out your business.
All right. With that, the spaceship's landed, Johnny. Do we look at it or do we take it apart?
Man, what are you going to find in that bathroom?
Wow.
There's got to be some pretty strange trends there. So
you don't even want to know where my mind. I don't even.
All right.
That is the craziness called the Handyman Pros Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. Send it to us. We will put it out there for you. Johnny, we got anything else?
Nope. That's it, folks.
Take us home.
Have a great week, folks. Stay safe. And we'll see you next time on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.